Years ago, I knew a boy who made all the wrong choices. Please let me help you.
I don't want your help. Don't you understand? I have to do this. I have to kill you. He's gonna kill me.
Getting from happiness to holiness is quite a leap. In the last video, I said that the goodness of a thing is connected to its perfection. Basically, when something works the way it's supposed to, it's more desirable, which means in the end it's better because it has more goodness to it. Who wants to play with a bunch of broken toys?
Your broom, it sort of blew into the Whomping Willow and... well...
So what does it mean for us to work well? The place to start would probably be with a little investigation into how we work at all. Now, like other animals, we need food and water and warmth and yada yada yada. But unlike other animals, we have a special ability, the ability to think abstractly and the power to choose things freely. In classical philosophy, these would be known as our intellect and our will. Now, the most important fact that we can know about anything is its purpose. Take flue powder, which allows a wizard to instantly be transported from one world to another.
Diagon Alley!
Unless you knew what it was for, knowing anything else about it would be kind of useless. Or take something like the human heart. Knowing how big it is and what it actually looks like, well, that's all very nice. But if you don't know that the heart is meant to pump blood, then you don't know what a heart is. Similarly, our intellect is designed to know things. That's just what it does. It takes information from our senses, from books, from other sources, and puts it all together to get a better understanding of the world that we live in. Hermione is a prime example of someone with a real thirst for knowledge.
I checked this out weeks ago for a bit of light reading.
This is light.
The will is the part of us that chooses things, but it also desires things in a unique way. Here's what I mean. Animals have desires. They desire food and even affection.
Yes.
We desire all of that, but other things too, like knowing the truth and doing what is morally right.
Dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy.
People die every day. Friends. Family. They didn't die in vain. But you will. Because you're wrong. Harry's heart did beat for us. For all of us. It's not over.
At the end of the day, what is it that we really want? We have desires and we have the ability to make choices, but what is it that we're really hungering for? The heart is made to pump blood, the lungs to provide oxygen to the body, but what about my soul? What does it hunger for? Is it God? Is it everlasting life? What is it? Now you might look at me and say, well, of course the priest is going to say that we all want God. And you'd be right. However, we're not quite there yet. There are a couple steps in between. So the most generic and common sense answer to the question of what is it that we want is that we want happiness. We all want to be happy. And in fact, Aristotle, the pagan philosopher, St. Augustine, and St. Thomas Aquinas, and amongst others, have argued that no one can choose their own unhappiness. Harry might want a glass because he wants to drink a butterbeer because it tastes good. But ultimately, he wants those things because they make him feel happy. And he doesn't want happiness because it will lead to some other good thing down the line. He wants to be happy because he wants to be happy. That's it. Now, sometimes we pursue happiness in unhelpful ways. Ron is so fed up with the long, hard, unfruitful trek to find Horcruxes that he abandons his friends on their quest. But he does this because he wants to be happy.
Ron!
Professor Snape, on the other hand, is drawn towards the dark arts and begins to follow Lord Voldemort.
Severus, I was beginning to worry you had lost your way. Come, We've saved you a seat.
Now, both of these things give him the feeling that he is special, that he's favored, that he's better than others, which is probably one of the ways that he coped with the years he spent at Hogwarts being picked on and having very few friends.
Who wants to see me take off Snivelly's trousers?
Lord Voldemort is so unhappy at the thought of death that he goes so far to divide his soul into little pieces in order to help guarantee that he'll live on forever. Again, he's just doing what he thinks will make him happy, just like Snape and Ron and Harry. Yet, all of these characters at times choose things that do not make them happy, and they don't see their actions in the light of truth, and therefore the choices they make aren't good. Okay, so all of those approaches at finding happiness don't work out so well. But generically speaking, what are we looking for in order to be happy? To get at that answer, though, we have to do a little bit of work. As I mentioned earlier, our intellects are built for truth. We want to know. And knowing here does not mean just book knowledge like Hermione has. It means knowing the truth in a deep way. Dumbledore knows lots of technical details about how magic works. But Dumbledore really knows that at the end of the day, it is old magic, love, that is the foundation and fountain of everything, especially all true friendships.
Cedric Diggory was, as you all know, exceptionally hard-working, infinitely fair-minded, and most importantly, a fierce friend. In light of recent events, the bonds of friendship we made this year will be more important than ever. Remember that. And Cedric Diggory will not have died in vain. You remember that.
In the last video, I showed how truth and being are the same thing. It's just that truth exists here and reality exists out there. But truth and being can also be called goodness. Let's go back to Dumbledore and Harry. Dumbledore knows Harry's goodness, but he doesn't just know it with his intellect, but with his heart as well. And so he cares deeply about Harry.
You wonderful boy. You brave, brave man.
Snape's knowledge and love of Lily Potter would be another example. The two of them have been friends for years, and Snape deeply cares about her, so much so that his own Patronus is the same as hers. His love for her, even in death, satisfies his heart in a way that the dark arts and Voldemort's praise cannot.
After all this time?
Because she was more real, she had more goodness than any of those things.
Always.
What we see in Snape, and even more so in our heroic trio, is that knowing and loving one another brings them tremendous happiness, a happiness unknown by Voldemort. But what about ultimate happiness? I pointed out in the 5th video of this series that the 3 unforgivable curses confront us with the reality of sin and suffering and death. Even without a Voldemort running around killing people, we know that Harry and Ginny and Ron and Hermione are going to die. Those friendships can provide Harry with that ultimate source of happiness for a couple of reasons. First, because friends die. Second, because sometimes we fight with our friends.
A pugno.
And thirdly, no one person or even several people together can satisfy our every desire for truth or goodness. In the next video, we're going to take a more in-depth look at some of those things that can't satisfy us and explore why they can't satisfy us. Please visit preachingfriars.org or subscribe to my YouTube channel to see all my videos or to make a contribution. Thank you for watching, and remember to read lots, pray more, and keep the faith.